This is a walkthrough of BallotReady's voter guide. I'm going to start by typing in a sample address and clicking to get started. First, you'll be navigated to a welcome screen without any candidates showing, but just to draw your attention to a few details here, there will be a logo on the upper left corner, which will link to the organization's website for reference. It will say My Voter Guide. It'll give you the name of the election based upon the address that you typed in. So this might say something like Minnesota general election. It'll tell you the date of the election. There's no election on December 30th. This is just a fake election. It'll give you a panel of the different tiers of candidates that will be on your ballot for that particular election. And then the address that you typed in will show down here. And that's what determines specifically what you'll see on your ballot. You can update this address by clicking Update down here, or by clicking on this icon up on the upper right corner. That's another way to update your address. So let's take a look at some of the candidates that will be on this fake election ballot. We've just installed some candidates for US president from the TV show Veep. So once you click on a particular position, you'll see the list of candidates that will be on the ballot for that position, some headshots for those candidates, the names of the candidates, and the party ID if that's relevant to the particular position. Let's learn a little bit more about Selena Mayer. So we click on her. We see her headshot again, her name. There's a couple of links to campaign materials like her website and her Twitter. We can select to add her to our ballot. So let's add her to our ballot. And it says, way to go, you've added her to your ballot. You can create an account if you want to save these choices. That would allow you to leave this site and then return and still maintain all of the choices that you selected. But you don't have to do that. You can also email the choices, and I'll show you how to do that later, to yourself before you close the tab. So we've added her to our ballot. Here's a little bit more information about her. This will be her work history, which again is linked to the source where we found it. In this case, her campaign website. Some of her educational history. And then if you scroll down some more, we can see her issue stances. These all have a header like foreign policy, government reform. And then the specific issue stance will be a quote, usually from a campaign website or a Facebook page, wherever we can find a direct quote of that candidate speaking to how they feel about a particular issue. Then at the bottom, we have endorsements for that candidate. These are both fake organizations, but hopefully for a real candidate, they will have real endorsements. So we've selected a candidate for US president. Normally you'd go through by selecting next office up there or down here, or just by scrolling through and perusing what candidates will be on your ballot over on that left panel. But for now, let's just view our ballot, which we can select by clicking up here. We can see what candidates we've selected. We can edit them if we want, which will take us back to the candidate page. Or we can email our ballot to ourselves by typing in our email address. And this is why you don't necessarily need to make an account to save your candidates. So once you've selected candidates for each of the positions, you can make a plan to vote, which is a tool that you can navigate to down here or up here. Let's make a plan to vote. Once in the Make a Plan to Vote section, you can select to vote in person or vote by mail. You get a little bit more information about how to vote in person, who's eligible, how it works, specific important dates. Again, this is not a real election. And then let's select to find a place to vote to get a bit more information about how we're going to vote. So we can find out when early voting is, or we can vote on election day. Let's select the 30th. And again, this is not a binding agreement, but it's just a good way for you to make a plan for election day. Now we'll select where we can vote. These are polling places that are tied to our particular election that we can go to based upon the address that we typed in. Let's say we want to vote at Mid-County Community Recreation Center. We select that and click next. Then we can select a time that polling place will be open. Then we can type in an email address or a phone number to get reminders about what plan we've made to vote. And that way we don't forget to vote. and you can select Finish to see the summary screen. This will tell you where you selected to vote, the address of that polling location, the date that you selected to vote and time, a few external links to helpful information. You can click directions to get directions to your polling place. You can share this on social media, or you can just see right here where the polling place is. And that's the walkthrough of Ballot Ready's voter guide. Thank you for listening.